Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of some introductory Japanese baloney. Today, we're going to be covering a few things, actually, and they all kind of fall together underneath the same grand umbrella. So I figured I could kill 3 birds with one stone here and cover question words, the iru versus aru differences, and a few particles, which are very, very important, particularly ga, ni, and mo. Now, to set things up first, I kind of want to talk about iru versus aru. In the last video, we talked about the copula des, which basically means to be. But here's the thing. That's not the only to be word in Japanese. In fact, you can't just use des for every being aspect there is. In fact, you have to use either iru or aru in a lot of cases, specifically in denoting existence instead of characteristics. A really good way to show the difference between des and, in this case, aru would be these two sentences. Nanika ga soto ni aru versus nanika ga soto desu. The first sentence, which is correct, means something is outside. The second one also has the meaning something is outside, although it carries with the connotation that that something is literally outside. It is the outside, not that it is within the realm of outside. In the correct sentence, you get to see 2 particles as well, ga and ni. In this sentence, and with beginner Japanese, ga represents the subject of a sentence. A subject of a sentence is a little bit more specific than a topic. For instance, you can introduce a topic within a sentence and then elaborate upon it more and more and more and more, whereas with a subject, it's a lot more narrow. So for instance, Ototo wa hikoki ga suki desu. My little brother likes airplanes. Right? Note that wa denotes the topic, my little brother, versus the subject, the planes. Right? You're talking about your little brother, but more specifically, you're discussing his like for airplanes. Similarly, you can also use mo, which is the other one I'd like to talk about in this instance. Now, mo is just simply a particle which means also or as well as. So let's build upon that sentence we just used. Ototo wa hikoki mo suki desu. My little brother also likes airplanes. And we can make this even longer. Ototo wa hikoki mo kuruma mo suki desu. My little brother likes airplanes as well as cars. And if you really want to get into the spicy bits, you can add ya and nado in that sentence, which means as well, and is a little bit more natural in this case, although the prior is still grammatically correct. Ototo wa hikoki ya kuruma ya nado suki desu. My little brother likes airplanes and cars, among other things. That's what the ya nado sort of construction does. So those are some fun little particles that we could cover in this instance. But anyway, I kind of got off track in terms of the differences between des and aru and iru and kind of got into the particle aspects. But I'm glad we got the particle aspects done. Pardon the bit of the disorganization of the video. Now, back to the aru and iru bit. Now, aru and iru both mean to be in the sense of existing. So then, why do 2 of these verbs exist? Well, simply put, the difference between the 2 is that aru denotes non-animate objects, while iru denotes animate objects. So an animate object, more specifically, would be people and animals, right? An inanimate object would be something like a rock or a tree, or a vehicle of sorts, a train, right? So what I'm going to show you are a few example sentences using aru and iru and a few really important basic question words, right? Who is at home? Now, to ask that question, you would say 誰が家にいますか誰が家にいますか Who, subject particle. Home, object particle ni to denote location. And imasu, which is the formal conjugation of iru. You could also just say dare ga ie ni iru with a raised intonation to imply that you're asking a question here. Now we can ask a similar question as well, being what is at home? Nani ga ie ni arimasu ka? Or if you're being informal, nani ga ie ni aru? We have two question words here, who and what. There are really four other question words in Japanese as well that you need to know, obviously, being itsu, meaning when, doko, meaning where, and doshite and naze, meaning why. With that, you've got your complete set of the who, what, when, where, and why question words, right? However, comparatively to the first two that I talked about, itsu, doko, and doshite and naze do not use aru or iru. Why? It's because they don't need to have that sort of thing. It's not within that element of aspect that they require, right? Because you're asking more or less of concrete noun or a concrete time instead of like location, which is what dare or nani ka or nani is asking, right? Instead of saying itsu arimasu ka, you would say itsu desu ka for when is it, doko desu ka for where is it, and doshite desu ka or naze desu ka for why is it the case. Now, there is another way to ask who as well that I kind of forgot to cover, which is donata, but it also means who, but it's more of a polite saying instead of dare. Dare is very informal compared to donata. So if you want to say, who is that person, you could say, ano hito wa donata desu ka, if you're trying to be polite, or if you're just casual, ano hito wa dare? Ano hito wa dare desu ka? Right? So that's that. And also, lastly, that I would like to cover in this video are location words, because those are always important, and demonstratives. What's a demonstrative? Well, it's pretty simple. Every language has them. It's this, that, and that over there, or yonder, if you're kind of more of an Old English kind of person, right? In Japanese, the words for this, that, and that thing over there is kono, sono, and ano, like I used in that previous sentence. Here, there, and over there is koko, soko, and asoko. So, to wrap this whole video up, let's just take all of this stuff that we've learned and let's make some big, spicy, longer sentences. So, let's just say you wanted to ask the question, is there something over there? Right? How would we say that? We would say, 何かそこにありますか? If you wanted to ask, is there also someone here? You could ask, 誰もここにいる? When is the baseball game? 野球の試合はいつですか? If you want to, look up some words using this little website I'm going to provide down below, gshow.org. Look up any words you want, and you can practice in the comment section below using these forms and these sentence patterns to make sentences of your own. Once again, I would like to thank all of you for deciding to click on this video and watch. I'm enjoying making this little series, and I hope you all have an excellent day, learn well, and mata ne, I guess.